Hello, my friends. This is the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twin Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. And that's not just blowing smoke. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Cool breeze in my head, bittersweet smoke flying through the air. It's the way I feel, smoking on a fat cigar.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to Not Just Blowing Smoke, coming at you live from Twin Smoke Shop Studio headquarters right here in Londonderry, New Hampshire, in the 724 Lounge. And I am Pastor Padron. I'm here with my co-hosts, Pat and Dave. And we welcome back original co-host Nic O, who might just make it through the show.
I just might.
Just might.
Just might.
Yep. Prison Nick has traded in that moniker for nicotine again.
I did.
We're glad to have you back, man.
Glad to be back.
Nick was a longtime employee here at Twins, a favorite of everybody's, and went off to do a little law enforcement for a while, and for whatever reason, thank you very much, came back, and I'm very glad that you are back, my friend. I missed you.
I missed all you guys. Back in the hot seat.
I don't believe that for a second, but
I missed you guys or back in the hot seat?
that you missed us.
Oh, of course I did.
Yeah.
Still worked here part-time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You never actually totally left.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. It was like, you just had your pinky still in the pond.
Yeah.
It just pulled you back in.
Yep. Absolutely.
Are you glad to be back, or was this like life didn't work out, fall back on Twins, or was this like something I need to go back to Twins, or somewhere in between, something else?
Somewhere in between, some other personal issues and stuff like that, but overall, I'm happy to be back.
Overall?
Yes, overall, I'm happy to be back.
Well, we're really glad you're back, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby.
Missed you a lot.
I missed all you guys.
Tonight, we are starting off by smoking this bad boy. This is the Joya de Nicaragua Antano Dark Corojo El Martillo. If there was one more word in that sentence, I think I would not be able to say it in a single breath.
El Martillo.
El Martillo.
El Martillo.
You know what that means?
El Martillo.
There you go. El
you know
Martillo.
what El Martillo means?
What does it mean?
You know what it means?
I have a feeling you're going to tell us.
Pat, do you know what it means?
Martillo.
Something relating to the cigar.
That's all you got?
It means El Mon.
That is the Spanish word for hammer.
Hammer.
This is
El Hammer.
The
the hammer.
The hammer.
This is one
Hammer
strong
time.
cigar.
Ooh.
It is a Nicaraguan Puro, wrapper binder filler, dark Corojo, Nicaraguan Corojo for the wrapper, of course. You can call it a short Toro or a Robusto Extra. It's 5.5 by 54.
Robusto
Almost.
Grande.
So Robusto Grande.
El Grande.
But Pat, you crafted something for us to pair with the cigar tonight. What is it?
Yeah.
So when I was working today, I was kind of dancing around with ideas because when I was doing the pairings before, I kind of tried getting drinks that would make the cigar stand out more. So I would take characteristics from the cigar and try and implement that in whatever I made. Mm-hmm. So this isn't something that we've made at the lounge before. I haven't thought of a name for it, but if I had to name it, I guess I'd go with Espresso Martini Gone Awry.
I got a name. I got a name right now for it.
Espresso Martini.
I got a name right now. The Chocolate Chamberlain.
Oh, the Chocolate Chamberlain.
The Chocolate Chamberlain.
The Chocolate Chamberlain.
What do you think? I like that name. The Chocolate Chamberlain.
Like it. It's an Espresso Martini. Mm-hmm. So with a cigar, it has that Nicaraguan Corojo Oscuro wrapper, so it has that kind of brown rustic look to it. So like the drink with the espresso fresh ground espresso that's kind of garnished on top. I think that kind of matches kind of the theme of the cigar. But then the thing that stands out in this cigar to me is they use they call it dark Ligero in all the Antanos. So it's like a really like thick, creamy, and then it's kind of like to me it's like a Nicaraguan double Ligero LFD. So instead of having that really thick, buttery sweetness, you have more of a thick, buttery pepper just because it's from Nicaragua. So with this drink, what's in it is I have Old Forester rye instead of what we would use as vanilla vodka. And then I did 1.5 ounces of that opposed to the 1 ounce. And then I did 3/4 ounce each part with Kahlua and then the coffee liqueur. And then I used Buffalo Trace bourbon cream for the cream we do on the bottom. And then I experimented with the cold brew machine, and I had frothed that on top of it, so it gets a little bit more of that sweetness. And then I did fresh ground espresso to kind of garnish the top of it. So I was hoping I could kind of get those kind of sweet, leather, creamy cocoa notes from the rye, and then have some of those coffee notes come out to kind of bring that Skura wrapper out a little bit more.
Yeah, this cigar is really tasty.
Yeah.
What are you picking up, Nick?
In the cigar or in the espresso martini? Because I already had a sip of that.
Let's talk the cigar.
Cigar, that spice, a little leather in there, some earth. Not really getting a ton of sweetness, but that earth and spice, super smooth. Yeah. Creamy cigar. That's it for now. I'm just lit it. Just give me a couple minutes and come back to me. I'm enjoying it. I want to have that chocolate Chamberlain again. It's delicious. It is delicious. And that's actually a pretty intricate drink. That all the ingredients that you read off. I was like, wow. I was like, that is a very complex drink, Pat.
Is it like a $21 martini or something?
Probably like 35.
It smells good.
It tastes good.
It tastes good, yes. Pat, what are you getting off the cigar?
Whoa.
So I'll echo briefly what I said. It's like
Got a kick.
if you smoke LFD and you smoke double Ligero, I think you kind of get the reference I'm making, but it's like a Nicaraguan version of it. So that dark Ligero they use in the Antanos, like it has like that really thick, creamy texture, and again, opposed to the sweetness, you get more of that kind of black pepper spice you get from the Esteli tobacco. And then the Del Corojo. So Corojo to me, typically again like Cuban Corojo, Cuban seed. It has again like a creaminess to it. It's traditionally has kind of an oak wood and like an allspice kind of aroma to it. Since it's a Del Corojo, so it went through longer fermentation, get that Oscuro shade. It takes that earthy note, it makes it more of a darker note, so I'm getting more of a creamy kind of espresso from it than your traditional kind of creamy sweet earth. And then sometimes you get an nuttiness in there. If you're getting nuttiness in here, I'd say it's more of like a toasted almond. Again, it's like that kind of gritty earth kind of change to it due to that fermentation. So it's a really, really good cigar. Like all the Antanos are just freaking, like, I love them. Even the Connecticut one, it's a strong Connecticut, but all of the Antano series are just phenomenal cigars.
I agree.
Yeah, the finish on this is long too. You get that tingle on your lips, this nice spicy tingle, and those earthy cocoa espresso notes just kind of sit on your tongue, and they go fantastic with the
Absolutely.
The cocktail is perfect for
this. Is actually my first espresso martini.
You're not really a coffee guy.
I'm not a coffee guy. I've had some coffee stouts in the past, but it's not for me. And I was a little weary when I saw him bringing it over, and I was like, "Ooh, I may not like this." I'm really enjoying it, but I like the way Pat made it.
Yeah.
If it was the vodka way, I'd probably be like, it's okay. But I mean, you used the Buffalo Trace cream, and then you used, what was the bourbon?
Old Forester rye.
Old Forester rye. I mean, I'm a big rye guy, and that is a fantastic drink, Pat.
That's not making it to the pipe section, by the way.
It's definitely, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I will say, like, we do a really, really awesome. Like, I've had espresso martinis at other places. Like, we make one of the best ones, and I think it's good because, like, your common drinker, social drinker, is going to like the espresso martini we offer. So the difference that I wanted to get by putting the rye in there was with the Antanos, again, that spice that comes in the finish and it kind of like lingers on your palate. So I wanted to get those nice, savory cocoa espresso notes from the drink. that sweetness, and then I wanted to get a little bit of bite on the finish, just because like you're having a full-bodied cigar, so you have to have something strong lingering on your palate when you draw from the cigar.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think using the rye was a good call on that end because it has a little bit of that spice to it. It's complementing the sweetness that's already in the drink, but it's just leaving a little bit of that kind of mouthfeel on the finish.
Yeah, it's nice. You definitely get that rye that's in there. It's really nice. It gives you a nice little bite in there, and then when you go take a nice little puff of your cigar, oof, it's almost a match made in heaven. My goodness, Pat. Bravo, my friend.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Very good. Dave, do you have anything to add to that?
No, you guys pretty much took the words right out of my mouth, man. I mean, the finish of the cigar, the matches very well with the finish of the drink. They're both complementing each other very well. The cigar is really smooth.
Totally
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I can't get over that. Are you getting that too? That little like tingle on the lips after you've
A little bit.
Yeah.
little-
I'm
just
getting
a little-
more there on my palate than I am my lips.
Mhm.
And the smoke, it's a very heavy, earthy, spicy. There's some sweetness in there now that the cigar is starting to warm up. It's an amazing cigar. I've always loved the cigar. Every time I smoked it, man, it was a really great smoke.
Yeah, I'm excited to have it on the show.
Oh, it's really weird. Like when you take the drink, all I get is like a creamy chocolate, and then when you swallow it, you get like that rye spice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then that just lingers.
Oh yeah, there's
That's
levels
like,
to it.
It's like swallowing it and having it just in your mouth are two totally, completely different tastes.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what she said.
There you go, bud.
There it is. There it is.
Pretty crazy.
I'm really enjoying this though. That drink is phenomenal. That is a really, really good drink.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
enjoying that.
rich. It's creamy.
Oh yeah, and that rye, the rye you get right at the end.
Yeah.
That rye bite, that's nice. That's so good.
Yep. I can't believe I'm saying this. You know, bite was one of your most common descriptive terms.
What is a
We were on
bite?
the show,
Yep.
show before. It was like a catch-all phrase for something
Spicy.
Spicy.
Gives you a little kick.
Bite. Little kick.
What else have we got on the agenda today, brother?
Well, we're going to start something new. A
Oh.
little
Newness.
and who knows, this might get a little more involved as we go on, but Twins and 724 is our principal sponsor of the show, and we want to start making that more apparent. And so we're doing something. I want it to be a weekly thing called the 724 Flashback.
Ooh.
724 Flashback, which is going to be a weekly.
Weekly.
It's going to be a weekly segment
I'm rubbing off on you, Dan.
highlighting historical events, brought to you by, of course, 724 Cigars. Smoke a piece of history. Smoke 724.
Absolutely unequal.
And what I thought we would bring up tonight, Pat and I did a little research on this earlier. 724 was founded in 1874, 149 years ago.
Whoa.
149 years ago. And that was, they were founded in Manchester, New Hampshire, became an iconic cigar brand in America up until the early 1960s. And something else big in the cigar world happened in 1874. Do you know what that is?
No. What happened?
A person was born.
George Washington?
He was a little bit earlier. He was already dead, Nick. He was already dead.
When did he die?
I don't know when he died, but
No.
he was not alive in 1874. He was
Oh, my
president
God.
in the 1700s.
Yeah, he was.
Come on. Get with it, Nick.
Yep.
Winston Churchill.
Really?
Sir Winston Churchill was born November 30th, 1874, who became one of, the premier statesmen
Yeah.
in all of history. No matter what list you put together for historical people, he's in the top 20.
At least. I
on
mean,
every list I've ever read. Who are the 20 most important, influential people in history? Winston
Yeah.
Churchill is one of those. And also one of the best-known cigar smokers
yeah.
in history.
They
The
still-
guy has the Churchill named after him.
That's
that
true.
size got its name from Winston Churchill
Yep.
because that was his favorite size of things to do. So
Yep.
you've got a Vitola that's named after the man.
He was, what did he smoke? Like 10 to 15 cigars a day. He smoked in bed when he woke up.
Yep.
Smoked everywhere.
He attributed cigar smoking and drinking his whiskey to the reason he stayed in such great health for most
Yeah.
of his life.
I mean,
That's why I'm in 200% form,
there you go.
was what he actually said. But next year, 2024 is going to be the 150th anniversary of 724 and the 150th birthday of Winston Churchill. That's going to be a big year. You're going to see big celebrations for both of those. Of course, 724, you're going to see a big celebration here. But that is our 724 flashback of the week.
Flashback of
Brought
the
to
week.
you by 724 Cigars. Smoke a piece of history.
Absolutely unequaled.
Absolutely unequaled. Why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on here at Twins? All right. I'll start off talking about the next event coming up, which is the Day of the Danes resolution with Eric Stokeby,
Yep.
a fourth generation tobacconist, pipes and tobaccos. Eric is going to be here on May the 13th from 12 to 4 p.m. I was on the phone with him earlier today.
How's he doing?
He's doing great. He's just fresh off of the Chicago Pipe Show,
Nice.
which he said
Chicago.
was the best attended in a while. And there seemed to be a lot more energy there than there have been in years past. So he feels like you're seeing a resurgence. And he's not the only one who said this, but there seems to be a resurgence of pipes and pipe smoking.
Pipe smokers are coming back.
Yeah, baby.
They're coming back.
The young generation are getting into the pipes.
The ultimate return to analog.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let me tell you, I'm really excited about some of the stuff that's coming. And we're going to be one of the first places in the United States that have some the Father's Day pipe for this year.
Ooh.
He comes out with a Father's Day pipe.
That's 12x4, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And we're going to be one of the first places, if not the first place, to
Oh,
have
I'm
it
going to be broke that week.
ever.
Yeah, me
Yep.
too.
It's going to be good. There's going to be, somewhere between 80 and 100 pipes that are going to be available for sale. And of course, if you know anything about fourth gen stuff, his accessories are freaking amazing.
They are.
The leatherware and pipe tools and lighters and when it comes to like pipe, with cigar cutters, lighters, like Rocky Patel is like, he's got the corner on that.
Yeah, he does.
He has the best freaking lighters and cutters. They look great. They work great. They're just awesome. Well, the equivalent of Rocky in the pipe world is Eric Stokeby.
Yes.
And we've got lots of new stuff is coming that way too. So I love the fact that we're going to be one of the first places to have a lot of this new stuff that's coming out, including a new bulk tobacco blend. I don't even remember the name of it, but it literally just showed up. We're going to be one of the first places again to have it. It's going to be awesome. So, and we're going to be doing a special kind of experience during that show. Anyone can go and peruse the pipes or whatnot, but Eric is going to also be in the back. We're going to have pairings with Carlsberg beer, Danish,
Of course.
and we're going to be doing Viking blood cocktails, which is going to be great. Again, this whole kind of Viking theme going on.
Yep.
And
You guys got to save some for me.
and
We
it's
will
gonna
not.
be there's going to be roasted meats there too, so you're
Roasted
going to act
meats?
like
Yeah.
a Viking,
Oh,
eat like a
Well,
Viking, drink like a Viking.
I would think some of the
smoke like a Viking.
I would
It's going
think
to
some
be
of the
great.
I would think some of the Vikings didn't roast any meats. They just
Raw
ate a
meat,
lot of it raw.
Just ate it raw.
They just ate a lot of it
Why
raw.
bother cooking it? But this is New
what?
Hampshire, so we're going to cook it.
Yeah, we have
So
to.
we're gonna roast it.
Health
But,
inspector
it's
stuff.
gonna be so $30 will get you beer, cocktail, and pairings with his 3 latest small batch releases: Petey Kentucky,
Yep.
the Gerbium Flake, which came out last year,
Hmm.
and the Resolution, which came out this year, and hence the name, David Danes.
The PD Kentucky is probably got to be my favorite. It's so good.
Yeah, it
So
is very
sweet
good
and
stuff.
rustic, and there's some nice spice to it. I mean, I went through 2 tins in a week and a half.
Whoa.
That stuff.
That stuff
I mean,
is really good.
it's really good. It's got to be my favorite from 4th Gen.
Yep. And so $30 will get you all of that. There's going to be swag and stuff too that will come with that. And then should you do the experience and then turn around and buy a pipe, you can put that $30 towards a pipe. So it's a great deal. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Pat, do you want to talk about the next event the following Saturday, the HVC brunch on the deck?
Yeah, so we have Lorenzo coming from HVC to do a kind of Cuban style brunch, well, Cuban mixed with American style brunch.
Yes.
And it's the ticket's $40. It's up to 30 seats. We're already over half sold out. We just started selling them like a few days ago, really, less than a week. And the $40 is going to obviously get you in. The patio is going to be closed off for the event. You're going to get pancakes, bacon, sausage, and then you're getting 2 cigars. The hot cake, obviously, because we're doing pancakes, you have to have a hot cake. And then Lorenzo is bringing a cigar that is not released yet to kind of test on the people that are attending to see whether or not it's something that he would want to release. And then he's also making his version of a mojito, which he frequently visits Cuba, so I'm sure he knows how to make a pretty damn good traditional mojito.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. There are pictures on his Instagram page of him doing mojitos. He loves those, and he is Cuban himself. So I think it's going to be an awesome time. But 2 cigars, the full brunch, fresh coffee, fruit, and the mojito for $40. There's no way you could do all that.
Can't go wrong.
$40.
Can't go
It's
wrong.
a great
$40.
value, and he's an awesome guy too. He's really humble. He's great to talk to, and he's so excited and passionate about what he's doing at HVC. And you're going to hear his story. He's going to talk about the cigars. He'll do a Q&A as well. So it's going to be a really unique event. And May out on the deck is going to be just fantastic.
It better be.
It better be.
It better be.
The weather had better behave.
I mean, if it starts raining, I'll be out there with umbrellas. I don't care. I'll hold umbrellas for everybody. I don't care.
But that's going to be a really, really good time. And then on June 2nd, Nimish Patel is going to be here at Twins. And
Is that the cousin?
he's
Brother?
a cousin. He's a cousin.
Cousin.
Cousin,
cuz?
cousin Patel.
Cousin Patel.
Cousin Patel will be here, Nimish. And all month long, you can buy Rocky cigars and be getting entered into raffle prizes that Nimish is going to pull on the Friday night that he's here. And it's there are 3 big things that are being given away. First and foremost is a person will get to go along with a guest, along with some other people, and we'll get to more of that later on, with Kurt and Rocky to Lake overnight at Lake Winnisquam.
Oh, yes.
On the
gonna
ninth,
be a
the 9th and 10th.
Party
of-
to wake up from, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Rocky loves to have a good time.
Yeah.
Like all night long.
Oh, yeah.
The next prize being raffled off is a limited edition ALR humidor with 50 limited edition ALR cigars that you can only get when you get this humidor.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Limited-
blend, but this
limited.
particular Vitola is only available when you buy the humidor is $5,000.
Yeah.
So the second prize is $5,000,
Which is a good prize.
which is a good prize. And then the third prize that's going to be given away is a Rocky Patel party pack, which is like a big.
It's worth the party pack is worth like $250, $300. It's a leather suitcase that opens up. You have 2 glasses. You have lighter cutter. It holds 10 cigars.
10 cigars.
Holds 10 cigars. You can put a bottle in there. I mean, the whole thing with the glasses, the lighter, and the cutter. It's worth $250.
And it comes with 10 cigars.
And it comes with 10 cigars. I mean,
And a bottle too, right?
I don't think it
with
comes.
a place for a bottle.
It
but
comes with a place. Yeah,
There's
not with the
there's
bottle.
gonna be a bunch of other additional Rocky swag that goes with it too.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So,
worth it. The
you're-
third prize is good too.
Third prize is there's no losing.
No, you're
You know,
a winner,
So
whether you get it or not.
between now and the 2nd of June, any 10 Rocky Patel cigars you get you a raffle ticket.
Yep.
Any box or 20 count mix and match of Rocky Patel gets you 3 tickets.
3.
And each week we're offering a kind of a special bonus for buying a particular line of Rocky Patel.
And right now it's
This week it's
DBS and
DBS and the Edge 20th anniversary. So if you buy any size of Edge 20th anniversary or DBS this week, now through Saturday the 6th of May, you'll get 6 tickets instead of 3 for buying the box.
Oh yeah.
You know, last week we did the same thing on the vintage lines. This week it's those 2.
Yep.
And that's going to be a lot of fun. And Nimish is great. He's great with people. He loves, you know, he's going to be on the deck as well. It's going to be more of a nighttime thing with him, but it's going to be awesome.
The Patels love to party.
They do. They're very good at it.
I know.
just
I know.
Yep.
So, getting back to the cigar here, is it changing up for you at all? Is it staying the same? Are you getting anything new from it? Is it still as enjoyable?
It's consistent. I mean, the cigar. You know what I mean? And I'm happy I know for a while we didn't have it in, and I'm happy we got it back in.
me
It's
too.
It's a great cigar. It's got this really subtle spice. It's smooth. It's creamy. It's bold. And I know this is supposed to be a full body smoke, but it doesn't come off as a full body smoke. I mean, like I would recommend this to anybody that's looking for a medium body. It's such a great smoke. It's smooth.
You really don't care about people.
No, not really. I mean, like smoke the cigar. I mean, you'll be happy that you
Oh, my
did.
God.
I mean, come up and have a chocolate Chamberlain. I mean, it's great. I mean, in having this is my first espresso martini, and I'm happy that Pat made it because it came out absolutely fantastic. And the pairing, it's the sweetness and the spice, the bite that you get at the end, the long finish. It's the complexity of the drink. It's the complexity of the cigar. It just goes so well. And thinking that the espresso and the chocolate and the cream and the rye would be kind of maybe a little bit too much, but I mean, it's going very, very well. It's not too complex where it's not a balanced drink, and it's going really, really well with the cigar.
Right.
It's complementing it so well.
Pat, what do you think? Is it the same thing?
It's changed a bit. One of the things I'll mention that we haven't mentioned yet is the construction of it. So with me, the Antano, just because it has like that dark Lajero in there, it's a tighter packed cigar, so the draw is going to be a little bit tighter, but the smoke output is like right on point. It's like just a really subtle draw from the cigar. It's just going to give you a lot of smoke. It's one of those slow burners, heavy hitters. Flavor-wise, the difference I'm getting, which I've smoked this cigar
100 times
tens
before.
of times. And the new note that I have out of it that I'm going to credit to the drink is that creaminess, like that dark creaminess I was talking about. I guess I'll call it that Nicaraguan Lajero creaminess. It's more of like a black licorice right now, or like you can say an anise kind of spice, but it's like a really heated kind of black licorice. And since it's kind of a heated note in my mouth, it's not like this really evasive black licorice. I know that's probably a turn off to some people, but it's really subtle and just there on your palate. So that's going to be from the drink, because I've never had that before when I smoked this cigar.
It's kind of funny because, I'm not a big fan of black licorice whatsoever.
Neither
But-
am I.
When I taste it in the cigar, I like it. I don't know why. I don't know. I guess it's a texture thing more than it is
The taste.
the taste. So, like, black licorice can go, jump off a cliff for all I care.
What about Twizzlers?
I agree.
Well-
Twizzlers is a different story now.
Well, the
young man.
strawberry ones, yes, but anything black.
Absolutely. No. My father-in-law can drink a bottle of Sambuca, no problem. He loves that stuff. I
Trash.
can't do that. I
Trash.
just can't do it.
It's absolute trash.
But I don't know. I'm not getting any black licorice from the cigar.
It's mild. It's like
But
it's like, imagine it hot. Like Pat really hit it. It's like a heated black licorice. It's really.
I'm not
It's
getting.
barely. It's right there in the back.
I get the Lajero in being heavy and full, and this smoothness and creaminess of it, but I don't get the black licorice. I don't know. I guess I'm happy that I'm not getting the black licorice, because then I would hate the cigar, and I would hate to hate this cigar because of how I love this cigar. And it's. I mean, out of their whole lineup, the Ligas are
It's
great,
like,
and
I feel like
but
it's like
this is
on the
like
line of being either like black licorice or espresso.
interesting. Very interesting.
The construction is very good on this.
Oh, of course. I mean, it's from Drew Estate. I mean, haven't had any issues with anything. I've smoked the acids, I smoked all the Antanos, the Ligas, the 20-acre farm that Pat gave me that Sunday. Everything. I mean, I've never had a construction issue. Wasn't plugged, wasn't peeling, wasn't unraveling on me. It's amazing.
I will say that Joya has their own factory, so they have their own rollers. But
Okay.
Joya is the oldest factory in Nicaragua. So, I was talking to Nic Lermy like a month ago, and it's like he's making a joke saying that like Drew Estate's trying to like get them to like update the cigar molds that they're using, because they've used them for God knows how long.
Since
That's
the
how
beginning.
traditional they are. So a lot of the construction you get with these is just because they've been around doing it for years, and they haven't changed their ways. So, as demand increases, a lot of people tend to change production to meet the demand. But, Joya's done a solid job at keeping the standards, which, I mean, you can look at Saka, like his lines, like that's all from that factory. So, like the Saka Con that we praised so much last year.
That's a
from
great
Colorado,
cigar.
Joya.
Nicaragua, yep. Same with the Todos Los Dias. Comes out of that factory.
And I'll also mention, too, because we haven't mentioned it yet, that we had a huge Drew Estate restock. Nick was kind of mentioning this earlier, of the Del Corojo. So we got, like, basically the entire line of Hoyas in. We have the Hoya Red, Black.
Silver.
We have all the Antanos. You have the Silver. We have the Del Corojo. We have the Connecticut. We have the Reserva Antanos.
Yep.
So it's like the Toro and the Robusto. We got the Cinco's.
Cabinettas.
Cabinettas. So if you guys like Joya, we have Joya. So
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Come on down to Twins and get yourself a Hoya. Or this specific delicious cigar, the Antano Dark Corojo.
And maybe even a chocolate chamberlain.
Definitely
Chocolate
come
chip.
down,
Yeah, we're gonna have to write that
Come
down
up.
for Kendra.
have yourself a Dark
recipe.
Corojo, the Chocolate Chamberlain, and have yourself a wonderful night at Twins 724 Lounge.
Now,
The only place you can get them. Only place.
and only when Pat's working.
True. Which is Monday from
After
12 to 5. And then you can catch them on the show Monday afternoon. That's it.
Oh my goodness. So, did you guys know that the Premium Cigar Association has announced the formation of the Diplomatic Cigar Corps.
What?
Also, no.
What? What is that?
Did
Say
you
that
know
again?
about
We get-
this, Pat?
Do we get patches?
Yeah, I actually, I don't think I can mention that. I was aware a year ago that this was something that was being worked on.
So this just came out last week. I'll read it to you. This is an announcement from the PCA. The Premium Cigar Association is proud to announce the creation of the Diplomatic Cigar Corps, a project designed to bring together countries' diplomatic representations in Washington, D.C. to promote and preserve the premium cigar industry.
Hallelujah.
The Dominican Republic and Honduras will co-chair this initiative.
That's
Really?
excellent.
That's awesome.
That's freaking
The
cool.
Diplomatic Cigar Corps will foster the cultural, social, and economic importance of the premium cigar industry through meetings, discussions, and events that will strengthen the relationship between embassy officials from around the world, legislators, and different premium cigar stakeholders. The group will also highlight the benefits of premium cigars in the development of related industries such as packaging, design, and warehousing. We are excited about the launch of the Diplomatic Cigar Corps and are privileged to bring together representatives from around the world to celebrate the unique and diverse culture of premium cigars, said Ryan Parada, a senior manager of government affairs and international policy at the Premium Cigar Association. PCA believes that this group will help to further promote international relations and enhance communication and cooperation between countries. Dominican Ambassador Sonia Guzman highlighted the relevance of this initiative, indicating that it will, quote, create synergies between the commercial
love that
teams
word.
of the different countries represented, particularly in the defense of premium cigars in the U.S. Honduras ambassador to the U.S., Javier Busato, expressed the importance of combining efforts within the diplomatic missions to protect the cigar industries and that it will help promote the relevance of the industry in our country and the positive impact it has in our economy, as well as advocating for our cigar culture. The inaugural meeting of the Diplomatic Cigar Corps took place at the Premium Cigar Association's office in Washington, D.C. The meeting featured a discussion on the history and culture of premium cigars and how it has impacted each country. The PCA invites other embassies to join the conversation and celebration of the premium cigar industry.
Man, I wonder if someone recorded that and put it up on YouTube. I'd love to see it. That's awesome.
Would be nice. Hopefully.
What do you all think of that? Is
I
that
think
is that
that's
like a
beautiful.
positive thing?
I think that's
kind of
beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that a good use of PCA?
Oh,
funds and
absolutely.
money?
That's like the best idea ever, man.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
it didn't fall on
Let's
deaf
get-
ears, but
right?
yeah.
Let's get
'Cause
all
we're talking
that-
about the government here. Am I talking too boldly? But
Well,
I'm just saying.
Let's
it-
just say, in the White
get
House, you
involved
can-
with the government
They
here.
have a cigar room in the White House.
Do
So
they now?
Yeah, where you can
They
smoke.
do now, yes.
Yes,
They do.
They do. So it's literally like part of our history. So people,
Absolutely, it's part
they
of our
need to-
history.
there's a reason why there's no taxes in D.C. people. It's because those politicians love their cigars. So let's keep this going. This beautiful
Absolutely.
thing.
When
Yeah.
you say no taxes, you mean no cigar tax.
Well, no cigar taxes. Yes. No, far be it from me. As a-
I think
politicians love their
Don't
taxes.
don't quote
there's
Dave.
a lot of taxes going to Washington D.C.
Yeah, too
If
much.
Not,
Too much taxes they're taking.
way too much. Yep.
So my comment on it would be, so I think there's different layers of it being a good thing. So I think with this break we have with the deeming rule, I think that, the PCA needed to do something, but I think that the industry as a whole, like the manufacturers, have to step up and do something. So I think the PCA is kind of filling their end, because typically when it comes to policy change, a lot of lobbying is what achieves that, because you have those interested parties communicating with, whether it's your municipality or your government, and you're kind of, if it's a healthy relationship, you should really be working with them to make a policy. Like, you might give up some things to achieve others, but there's usually some kind of a middle ground you reach, and that middle ground only gets accomplished if you have somebody lobbying in your favor. If you don't have that group that is just going to be whatever that, governing entity is, getting, whatever the policy is that they want.
Right.
So the unique thing about federal government is these federal agencies like the FDA, they're governed by the Administrative Procedure Act, the APA. So that act actually holds those agencies accountable for their actions to the public, and the public can actually bring an action in court against them under the APA, which is what we saw with the deeming rule, and that's why it's getting, well, hopefully getting vacated, because these governments, these federal agencies are required to answer comments that are being given to them whenever they announce a policy.
Right.
So if they fail to answer those comments properly, which they did in this case, which is the posing a risk to minors and, the adult use of it, which is why, they're in the situation they're in now, we can hold them accountable. So I think the PCA is definitely doing a good thing by getting this group together to have these conversations with, the federal government about, the culture and what's in it, packaging, all that stuff, because the packaging really speaking to, the warning labels, for instance, they got shot down. It was probably a little over a year ago. And then, when it comes to advertising the minors, packaging. So it's good that we're not just doing it with ourselves, but then you look at the new rules that the FDA is kind of attacking, which is the offshore, the manufacturers themselves. So it's good having these outsiders, you can call them, coming in and talking, because, you can't just have, the American, PCA people, like the manufacturers, being here talking about the product when it's coming from offshore. So it's really good to see that the PCA is incorporating those people to come in here and have that conversation.
The mouth of the horse, you might say.
Yeah, so it's I think it's a really, really good move on their end, but I still think the manufacturers have to step up and do something during this break period we have here.
I agree too.
I agree with that too. All right.
Meow.
What's our final thoughts here on the Antano El Martillo?
It is.
Buy it because it's delicious.
Yes, it is a delicious cigar. It's creamy. It's got bite.
It's got some bite to it.
It's got
a
some
little bite.
Yep. It is. I would definitely classify it as a medium plus. I think the drink makes it a medium. I think it takes away a little bit, not a lot,
A little
but
bit.
a little bit. And I think
I think the drink does take down the spice on the cigar.
yeah,
it
a little
brings
bit.
out
It
more
takes
of the sweetness.
You get all the sweetness and yeah.
Amps the sweetness, downs the spice.
Mm-hmm.
But in a
But
nice
there's
way.
still a little spice, which is
Yeah.
impressive. So that should tell you, like, there's a lot of spice to the cigar. But the no, I think I'm very. When I first tried the pairing, I was kind of turned off of it. But the more I drank it and the more I smoked with it, the more I liked it.
Yeah.
So I'm
totally agree.
totally sold on it now.
So
At the beginning of
totally,
the show, I was just like, I am not enjoying this whatsoever. And then it just was like, wow, this is actually really good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Totally agree.
I think it's one of the best pairings we've had in a while.
It's I would have to say. Well, I haven't been on the show in a while, so for me, definitely is the best pairing I had in a while.
Yeah.
With the chocolate note, the espresso note, the creaminess, the bite in the drink, it definitely brings out. Well, not brings out, but for me, it smooths the cigar out a lot more than it usually is. I mean, it tones down the spice where you can get a little bit more out of the cigar, a little bit more of that complexity, that beauty of the cigar. And it's a really well balanced. You can see in smoking it with the drink that it's a really well balanced cigar. It has everything that you want. It's not, and I would definitely agree with Dave, it's a medium plus. It's not a full double Ajero digger or anything like that. It's really subtle. It's
Plus on the
really
light
smooth.
side. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a subtle, smooth cigar. It's going to give you everything that you want. It has that little bit of bite, a little bit of spice. Does leave a little bit of tingle on your lips a little bit. It's kind of like magic at Christmas time, but you know what I mean? It's something like that. But the pairing. I again, when Pat was bringing it over, I was a little taken back, and I was like, "Oh, this might not
What
go
is
well."
this?
Because I, you know what I mean. In the past couple of days, I've had a couple of these cigars, and it's a rugged, rough, spicy cigar, and it kind of takes you by surprise a little bit. But I mean,
And when I first saw it, I was like, "Is that chocolate shavings?"
No, I saw that was coffee.
Espresso, and
I
was
saw that was
oh,
I
freaking
saw that was
righteous, man.
coffee beans, but
That
I
was
mean,
awesome.
I'm glad I'm drinking it because it's amazing. I mean, it calms the cigar down, and then the cigar kind of brings out a little bit more of the complexity of the drink, a little bit more. So you taste a lot more of both, and it's a very complimenting pairing.
Thank you, Pat.
Bravo, Pat. Thank you very much.
Very good job. You have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, last time I think I was doing the drinks for the show. I think that was back when Paulie was here, or
Whoa.
around when Paulie was here, and he always said I was batting 1,000. So,
Still batting 1,000.
but yeah,
Pat
I mean,
yourself on the back a little bit harder.
I'm definitely like when it comes to like the bartenders here, you have Kendra Bree, like they're well more experienced in the spirits than I am. The only thing I know is the tobacco, so like when I do the drinks, I look at the color of it, if it's aesthetically matches a cigar, even though that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but to me it matters.
Well, Pat, you don't suck.
Yeah. And then, like,
Pretty
since
good.
I actually smoke the cigars. It's easy for me to kind of mix something that I think would go well with it. I mean, that's not going to be perfect every time, but this is the first time I've done anything in espresso martini, so I'm happy you guys liked it. I think it was kind of a risky move, but yeah.
Yeah, you did a great
But
job.
the cigar is really good. I would honestly,
No risk, no reward.
we're
True.
all seasoned smokers. I would say for your general populace of people, this is definitely a full-bodied cigar. Like it's
For your average Joe, that comes
it's
in here,
all
yes.
the Antanos. That's why they call it hammer. It's like it's a strong cigar.
Got a lot of nicotine in it.
Does
And
it?
To me, like whenever we don't have H99 Ligas in stock, this is always something I wish we had, which now we do, because this is like, it's not an H99, but it's very similar to it, just because you have that Dog Corojo on there. So
Yeah.
it's a good substitute when you don't have access to that limited cigar. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy you guys liked it, and I definitely think this is something I would reach for again. So
I'm laughing because nicotine's blood type is nicotine. So yes, this is a full-bodied cigar.
And
It's definitely not that full body for me. I mean, it's a great look. Like I said, it's
This is
a
like
medium.
This is like a WA kind of for me.
No.
Very, very morning
I mean,
cigar.
Oh, I definitely
First cigar
smoked
of
this
the
at.
day.
This would go really
He
well.
gets more nicotine on ash on his forehead.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely smoked this at 7 o'clock in the morning right after a workout. You know what I mean? Just to get my blood
with
pressure.
the workout bourbon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, 7 o'clock in the morning smoke, absolutely. It'd go really great with some pre-workout.
There's nothing like
I
it.
mean-
I see. I'm with you, man. I love a strong cigar in the morning to go with my coffee.
Why not? Well, I don't drink coffee, so I mean,
I go well. It goes with my coffee.
your coffee. Yeah, my coffee is a shot of pre-workout with 300 milligrams of caffeine in it. You know what I mean? So I mean, that's where I get mine. So, but yeah, this is a 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
I start calling you
Feeding my
Dragonheart.
chickens. Feeding my chickens and, getting some eggs in the morning.
My chickens and smoking in an Antano.
I mean, the smoke calms, just like the bees, the smoke calms the chickens down, you know what I mean? So I can go and get some eggs, make some eggs in the morning, fresh eggs from the chicken. Still got some feathers
Why'd
on
the
it.
chicken cross the road?
To get a oh, my God. I was going to say to get a cigar at Twins, but yeah, you beat me to it.
Pat, you didn't think that was funny?
I'm pretty good at zoning stupidity out.
That hurts my
Ouch.
feelings.
That hurt.
It's got me right there in the feelings, right there.
All right. Well, let's move on. The next thing we're doing on this show tonight
Is
is
smoking pipe tobacco and getting a new
smoking
drink?
pipe tobacco.
Well, you should have saved it.
Nope. You're getting the same drink you had. We're smoking this brand new
Had.
GL Pease Geometrie.
Geometrie.
Geometrie, the second in his
Ooh.
new Zeitgeist series.
Nick, how is your drink not gone? Sorry, Dan.
Because I was told that I wasn't going to get another, so
Yeah,
I mean,
so I paced myself.
I
I
figured
had
we
to.
were in a bar and
well, Pat's
Well-
not going to leave the show to go make another 3/4 drinks, like so.
Yeah, so you're crap out of luck.
So sorry, you got a Guinness over there.
No,
so
it's not a Guinness.
what is it?
It is
Like
a
an
left-hand
Irish
stout.
hello. Oh,
So you got a stout. So I
Yeah,
mean,
so you're gonna
you're-
do that.
his pairing is going to be a little bit different from ours today.
So let me read you what's on the tin of this tobacco here. A blend of aged red Virginias layered with vintage Basma and Izmir leaf. GLP's Geometrie reinvigorates the Virginia Oriental archetype in a pressed plug cut format, offering exceptional aging potential and a deep matured flavor right out of the tin. Notes of freshly baked goods overlap planes of subtle spice, rich malty sweetness, and a hint of floral zest on the palate. And then another thing that the website says about it, Geometrie is the second blend in GL Pease Zeitgeist collection of pipe tobaccos, a line celebrating the often avant-garde and rebellious themes of the modern era. These are innovative mixtures designed to challenge preconceptions and to incite contemplation through their modern artwork, unique formats, and components. Like all of GLP's tobaccos currently, this is manufactured for him by Cornell and Deal. It's an Oriental type of blend, Bosmere, Izmir, Red Virginia. No flavoring in this, and it's a plug format, which basically means you've got a hard brownie.
Yeah, we got a
that
picture
you
up
need
there.
to cut with a knife or something. This is not a crumble cake where you can just
Rip it off
some
with
of
your
it.
teeth.
You need to cut it with a knife, or you can use a cigar cutter if you can get it in there, depending on how big of a block you're dealing with. But some good stuff here. Let me light up the pipe here, and tell me, what are you guys thinking of this as I light up myself?
Spicy,
Spicy and sweet.
sweet. Oh yeah, spicy, sweet. And you're kind of on the finish. You get some. There's a little floral notes that I'm getting from.
You know, that
On
would
the
be
finish.
The Izmir and stuff.
It's nice. It's kind of brings it full circle with the tobacco. It's really pleasant. You know, it's funny because I was smoking this earlier, and I wasn't getting that floral note. I was getting the zestiness and a little bit of the sweetness, obviously from the Virginias, but I wasn't
I
getting
think that's the leftover from the drink. But
Maybe I
definitely
wasn't getting that. I
on
wasn't
my
getting that
palate.
floral note, which is now I'm getting it, and it's
Yeah,
that's
and
the beauty of the
aroma.
pairings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and
it's
it's-
amazing, and there is a lot of spice from this. You know, but those Virginias, I think the description of baked goods, you know, kind of
That's like a patch description.
it is a pat description. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pat's completely out of his element.
DuPont fuel is too much money to use for this thing.
Yeah, it is. And
So-
let's see how the drink holds up.
Yeah.
And I was a little weary because again I had this earlier, and I got the spice and I got the sweetness. I didn't get the floral notes. I'm getting it now, but with the creaminess and the coffee and that bite of the bourbon and the rye. But I mean, it's not bad. I mean, it's kind of calming it down a little bit. Like you get a lot without the drink. You get a lot of that zest. You get a lot of that spice. You get some of that sweetness from the Virginias, and it's nice. It's pleasant on its own. With the drink, it's kind of just bringing it down where it's you can kind of look at it and kind of pick out all the tasting notes of that tobacco. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some of the spice goes away, kind of like with the cigar. The sweetness of the tobacco comes forward, the spice kind of goes back. But for me, the spice comes back a lot quicker with the pipe tobacco after the finish of the drink than the cigar did.
Yeah. I mean, the finish with the tobacco, the spice kind of lingers, and instead of it being a quick shot without the drink. I mean, the drink is enabling it to stay on your palate a little bit longer, so you enjoy more of that nice spice, nice sweetness. You get the sweetness up front,
That's
and then the
nice.
spice is kind of lingering after. It's really pleasant, Danny.
Have you gotten your pipe lit, Pat?
Yeah.
What are you picking up off of this?
Definitely like a Cajun spice in the tongue. It's a lot of earthiness to it. I'm getting kind of a jammy kind of tannin there too. Like you could kind of say metallic, but I think it's more of a tannin.
Yeah.
And then that kind of like, grapey jam.
Right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You picking that up, Dave?
Yes, sir.
And then there's definitely like some kind of like pine, maple, like subtle sweetness that sits on the back of your throat through the finish.
It's a very complex tobacco.
It is, yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff going on. And kind of like the cigar, there's just a little bit of tingly, spice left right on the sides of my tongue after pulling on the pipe.
So, Danny, what pipe are you smoking today?
This is my 7LE Eleganza 606.
Is it now?
It is. It is one of my favorite.
I see you smoking that one a lot. That is a beautiful pipe.
It's a beautiful pipe.
Yep.
It's a great smoking pipe. It's got a nice bowl to it. The draw's great, and I can't say enough good stuff about this.
Yeah.
And it looks like three of us here are smoking 7LEs.
Yep.
Saturday Christmas pipe here.
Yeah.
He's got a Christmas pipe. Pat's got a nice 320. What is that?
Christmas pipe
That's
too.
a Christmas 320, which I'm jealous because I love 320s. But today I chose my Peterson Sherlock Holmes Lestrade P-lip bent pipe.
How do you like the P-lip?
I like it. I just
Some
my
people
first.
seem to either like
Mine's a
it or hate it.
616.
Yeah.
But, the whole idea of the P-lip is that the smoke,
Curls up to the palate.
up to the top of your mouth and then descends over your entire palate. It's also supposed to cool it off,
Yep.
so that it reduces tongue bite, but also gives you a complete tasting of the tobacco instead of the smoke coming front to back. It descends on your palate from the roof of your mouth.
Descends.
So I have a side note when I'm hitting it. So this isn't the conversation
What she
didn't
said.
sway me to this point because I was thinking of this before we mentioned it. To me, the drink actually is making this like a Christmas blend pipe tobacco. I'm getting like a gingerbread and like that pine cone is like coming out a lot more, like kind of a maple, like baker's spice.
I dig it.
So it's making it rather festive.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, and it's funny because there's no toppings on the pipe tobacco here.
It's again a remarkable pairing. I mean, like I had the Geometrie earlier today, and it was just spice and sweetness. I didn't get the floral notes, and it's you can again, the drink is calming that tobacco down, so you can get more of that complexity out of that, and it's wonderful. It's
I'm not
really
getting
enjoyable.
a pepper through the retro hell. I'm getting like a light salt.
And I won't
light
take any
salt, huh?
credit for the pairing on this one because I didn't have this pipe tobacco before. So if this works out well, then it's all
Yeah,
my chance.
it does. It works out well. I mean, I think it was a perfect pairing with the cigar. But this is not a disappointment at all.
No, you're getting different avenues of this taste, and it's wonderful. I mean, it's crazy how a pairing changes the tobacco and changes the cigars, not extravagantly and not tremendously. And you do have contrasting pairings, which we've had in the past,
Yes.
which is
Mostly
nice that.
with, Sam the barman.
Yeah, which Sam, if you're watching, we love you and we miss you. I hope you're doing well and all and everything that you're doing. But yeah, he was known to have these outlandish drinks that are completely on the opposite end of anything that you would think about pairing with a cigar or pipes. And I mean, it worked. I don't think I had any pairing that he had that he came up with that didn't work. And I can't say this is one of them, but I mean, having this with it means it's great. I mean, I'm loving it. It like I said, it's calming the tobacco down, and you're able to pick out some of the complexities of the tobacco, which is making it more enjoyable.
It's funny you mentioned Sam because I haven't talked about him in a long time. But like, it's funny because when I was a bar back, at that point I had zero hopes of being a bartender because I was here to be a bar back, and he would talk to me about bartending, and he'd always kind of like try to kick me a little bit to pursue doing it one day if there's ever an opportunity. And so he gave me, or he lended me it, but he never took it back, even though I've texted him to pick the thing up. But it was a cocktail book that was given to him from whoever taught him how to bartend. And the story, I forget a lot of the important details because it was a long time ago, but it's like like I was reading this thing, and it is like a really old-fashioned way of bartending, and like that was kind of his style. Is he?
Yeah.
Like you would find him, like at like a place downtown Boston. Like you would think of like one of those really classy kind of cocktail bars. Like that was the kind of bartender he was. And it's like, I kind of wish I was on the show at the point when he was making the drinks, because like I would see how he would do things at the bar, and he just had like just that. It's like that old school way of doing it.
Very
like,
much so.
like you see old school like barbers using the old tools and the old techniques. Like that was the way that he bartended, and it was just very unique. Like the way that he explained how to shake drinks, and like the way you shake it so it makes sure the ice kind of flows in a certain motion, like stirring, if it's like not like citrus, you stir it, so using like the
None of his motion was ever wasted.
using like
Right.
the warmth of your hand on the mixing cup, so it heats the ice up when you're stirring it, so you get because the water from the ice is part of the recipe, and a lot
Right.
of people like stir really quickly. I'm not saying people as in here, because everyone here does it the right way, but when you stir it, they
Good
don't.
save, Pat.
Well, I mean, again, Kendra taught me primarily how to bartend, so a lot of the way I do it came from her, and it's the right way to do it. But a lot of people, like when I go out to different bars, like they just put the cup down, they put their finger on top and they stir it. Like the heat of your hand is actually part of the recipe, because you need to get some of that water from that ice. Like if you do like an old fashioned, so it's like, I mean, Kendra does it the same way, but it's like Sam just had that very traditional way of doing it. Just it was really interesting watching him work, and the weird concoctions he would make.
Now, off topic, but I have to say this or ask this of you guys. And is it hard for you guys? Like, I don't really come up here too often. When I punch out, I'm usually out of here, and I gotta get home to the chickens and the wife and the whole nine and the dogs and stuff like that. But Pat spends a good amount of time up here. Dave comes up here. You come up here. Is it hard for you guys to go out anywhere else and try to order drinks because you have it so good here? Kendra, Bree, Elise, Gianna, you got Pat behind the bar a lot of the times. I mean, is it hard for you guys to go anywhere else and be like, okay, I'm going to get an espresso martini or a Manhattan or an old fashioned, and try to get it, or not try to get it, but expect it that way? Like, is it hard for you guys? I don't really have that experience because I really don't.
When I go out, I just order beer because I don't even try, because I tried once and it just wasn't even close. I'm like, that is not what I have at the bar. And I'm
No,
just like,
of course.
And I know Kendra's award winning, so I know she's doing it right. So it's just no, I don't even bother. I just get a beer.
Danny, how about you?
Well, being totally transparent, being the pastor and Pastor Padron is legit, I've not frequented a whole lot of bars.
Of course.
Now, that said, I've always enjoyed, a drink and, go out and order and stuff. What I've really, my big experience working here and being up here at the bar is, this was really the first place I really, bar-wise, I spent any great amount of time. Now I'll go out to another place, and because of my experience here, I'll be looking to get some experience somewhere else.
Yeah.
And my biggest frustration is we're so spoiled
True.
by the selection of stuff that we have that when I go to another restaurant and look at what they have to work with, it's a fraction, literally a fraction
True.
of what we have to work with. I mean, I've been at places where, I look around, I'm like, we have more scotches than you have on your entire selection of liquor.
Yeah.
And once you start realizing what's top shelf, what's medium shelf, what's kind of well liquors and stuff like that, I kind of look around, I'm like, I don't know if I want to drink from here because,
Yeah.
but it's not that those places, are bad or have bad drinks or whatever. It's just, we have such an awesome selection here at Twins.
Yeah.
And it really is unique. I can tell you that when I have I'm a martini guy. I like martinis.
Shaken, not stirred.
He's our own James
That's kind of the drinks I get here are really a cut above other places,
Yeah.
and I know it. No one's going to believe me because I'm like the manager here, but it's true. I mean, I have a.
I'll ask for stuff, and they'll be like, "What's that?"
I have a very hard time going somewhere else.
It's
like,
true.
Like for cigars
Feels like it's
too.
cheating.
There's lots of other great cigar shops around. I can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like we've got the selection. I mean, if I really believe that Twins is the place I want people to go, why wouldn't I want to go there too? And I do. So when I see
every anniversary you've had here.
When
That's true.
when I and it's funny when I see people from other local cigar shops or cigar bars here, I don't know that I could ever do what they do. For me, I just feel like, this is where I want people to come. I want to create that atmosphere. I have for myself anyway. So this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And, our bartenders, like you said, Pat, they make incredible cocktails, and they're all really good at pairing something with a cigar.
Yeah.
They're all very, very good at it. Kendra is fantastic. Bree, I love having Bree just experiment with me. There was a couple of weeks.
Do you now?
Yeah,
I bet you do.
There was a couple of weeks where she was really into doing drinks that you lit on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd bring me over this drink, and it would be all flames and stuff, and then there's this other alcohol or topping or whatever that you're supposed to put on. It's supposed to put out the flame, and this was the first time she did it. It didn't work. It just the flames got higher. We were patting stuff out and everything. But it was awesome. And then by the time she worked out the craft, she had this incredible presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of thing that they do is that they're always experimenting with new stuff, and then they get really good at it.
Yeah,
and it's awesome.
So Pat, how about you? Do you go anywhere and feel that okay, they can't do it as well as they do it here at Twins, and or anything like that? You get spoiled here, and what's your thought on that?
So I guess like a opening example would be that with kind of how we do it here, this is more of like a spirit enthusiast bar. Like you don't really get a lot of like Long Island iced teas or any of those kind of, I'll call it a divey kind of drink. I mean, you get like Tito's and soda and stuff like that, but that's not a divey drink. Like people, that's just because you're having a cigar, you want to drink or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't really necessarily come here to just get completely, destroyed. They come here because they want to enjoy what they're drinking.
Yeah.
So an example that I give, which kind of corresponds with how I was trained here to be a bartender was, like I'll go to a coffee shop and I'll say, I'll get a hot coffee. Or I'll go with a mocha latte, right? So I'll get a mocha latte, no sugar. So typically that means you just put the mocha in there, and that's it. So it should be a little bit sweet, but not really sweet. You should just get that chocolate sweetness and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the places will put sugar in it because that's how the drink's supposed to be made, but I don't want sugar in it. So it's this really sweet mocha latte that I'm not getting any coffee out of it now. I'm just getting this sweet, whatever.
Yep.
So that's how it is here. Like when I was being trained, the old fashioned is the example that I'll give because that's like one of the more common drinks we make here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the many drinks we're known for, like when I would drink old fashions in college, both underage and of age.
Whoa! Remember, your father's present, so let's Let's keep those to a minimum, huh?
I would get old fashions, and I thought I knew what an old fashioned should taste like because I was getting a lot of that sweetness out of it. I was getting sweetness and like a hot kind of bourbon out of it. You know, at that point, I didn't really have like a really big flavor wheel, but it was a sweet drink. I always thought it was a sweet drink.
Well, it's
So
not.
then, you know, I had an old fashioned here finally because I was making so many of them, and it was a very citrusy drink. It wasn't. It was sweet on the tongue, but it wasn't a sweet drink. It was a citrusy drink. And when Kendra would teach me how to make an old fashioned, it's like, you know, the simple syrup we use. It is like you tip that thing upside down so, you know, goddamn quick that, you know, to me it's like barely any sweetness got in there. It's like, how do you, you know, if you're supposed to put this in there, like you look at recipes online, it's like, you know, like half an ounce of simple syrup. Here it's like a quick little. I guess the fastest way you can spin the mixing cup is how you do it. So you get like really maybe a quarter of an ounce in there, barely any simple syrup in there. But then that allows, you know, all like you still taste the bourbon, you taste the bitters, like even like, you know, the orange peel that we garnish on and we spin the rim, you get that orange peel, that garnish on there. You still taste it all. So you get a lot more flavor. That's why I kind of call Twins like the enthusiast bar, because you're experiencing the components of the cocktail, not necessarily like the easy way of doing it and sweetening it up.
Yeah.
You know, like putting the sugar in the mocha latte. You
Yep.
know, you get everything out of it. Like the way that we're trained here is your everything that it's kind of like the cigars. Like everything's around that whole experience. Like the cigar adds to it. Like everything that we make here is around the, you know, the predominant spirit we're mixing with. Whether it's a Manhattan, an old fashioned, the espresso martini, like, you know, whatever those spirits are that we're utilizing in those cocktails. Like everything we add to that drink is supposed to complement that foundational spirit. And I think a lot of places I've been to don't have that principle. You know, I think it's really easy when you're busy to just, you know, making an old fashioned, you just tip the thing upside down, you just do it quickly, you try to make 2 or 3 at a time, you just put it, you know, you don't even measure how much you put in there, you just, you know, dump it in there. But here, like everything we do is a measured pour. Like if you're getting, you know, at least for me, like, you know, Tito's and soda, I'm going to measure the Tito's because I want to make sure you're getting like the exact amount, because that's just how we do it here. You know, like we're not measuring just because we want to make sure we're pouring the right amount and, you know, profit margin.
Everything's
like,
precise.
yeah, that's how it's supposed to
Because
taste.
you want the taste and aroma
Yeah,
to
and
be
like
the same.
if you get the drink again, it's
Consistency.
going to taste the same. And
Yeah.
that's
Right.
one of the things that so to kind of put this the summary of an answer, you know, when I go other places and I get a cocktail more than once, there's going to be some change in it, whether it's a
Right.
minor change or a big change. But then if you get the drink here, doesn't matter which bartender makes it, doesn't matter how many you get that night, it's going to be the same exact drink.
It's
And that's
uniform, yeah.
something that I don't think I've found in another place before.
I feel like that's the same along cigar companies too. Like, you know, you look at Patron and they're just like insanely consistent. You know, versus, you know, other companies. But you know,
Which we will not name on this show at this time.
but Patron is just like intensely, you know, consistent. If you have like a Exclusivo from 10 years ago or today, it's pretty much the same cigar.
Like 724. Yeah.
And that's like the luxury of, you know, being a bartender at a, you know, cigar lounge, which this is why I wish this idea was present in all the states, because, you know, we have the ability to spend more time on these artisan cocktails because, you know, people are here to smoke a cigar, so that's their primary focus. So, you know, if you order an old fashioned, you can go to a, you know, I'm not going to call it a divey bar, but someplace else, and you can get it within like a minute. But here we can take those extra minutes because people are focused on the cigar. We can spend more time to make sure that cocktail is going to be as good as it can be. So that's one of the, I think it's just honestly like, you know, the cigar lounge compared to other places. I just think drinks are made differently in this kind of an environment.
Totally agree. What's our final thoughts here on GLP's geometry?
Geometrically pleasing.
I like that. I like that. Very good. Very good. I mean, I'm pretty much almost done, which is no surprise to anybody.
Nope.
Especially your wife.
Oh! Shade.
I would have
in the
been.
face.
I would have been. According to her, I would have been done a long time ago.
Next.
But but it's a remarkable pairing, some remarkable tobacco. I mean, GLP did it again. I mean, all of the GLP that I've smoked,
GLPs,
Gregory
GLP,
Pease.
whatever,
The GP.
all his tobacco is amazing. It's complex. It's straightforward. It's spicy. It's sweet. It's subtle. I mean, he makes an amazing tobacco.
Yep.
And this is definitely another one that added, another feather in his cap with it.
Yep.
I mean, it's a fantastic tobacco. It now with that drink, and it's going to be really interesting if I have it with something else, and what else is it going to bring out? And that's what I'm curious about, because with this, which is something I probably won't have every day, I have bourbon or whiskey or rum or scotch every day. So
This would probably go great with a straight rye.
yeah, I would definitely bet some money on that. You know what I mean? And I mean, the drink makes the tobacco more complex.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I mean, what else can I say, boys?
Pat?
I enjoyed it. It was really good. It's kind of like, I guess you can call it like a Pat pipe tobacco. Like it has like that spice to it.
The Pat Wente spice.
That leather, and then as the bowl went down halfway, it started heating up more, so you're getting more of those like darker characteristics out of the tobacco. So I'm getting more of like that, from a Cajun to more of like a black pepper. Like the finish has still like that kind of bacon spice. I mean, the drink ran out, halfway through this segment, so I didn't like that kind of festive change in it. I lost it, but it is really good. Again, like that jam kind of grapes there, and it's just like a nice kind of medium plus body pipe tobacco. So, and the room notes really
Room notes
really good.
It's really good, yeah.
Dave?
I said it was geometric. I already went, yeah.
Oh,
That's okay.
straight to the point.
We'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Great pipe tobacco from GL Pease. I'm wicked excited to be able to say that we're in talks with him coming to the store.
I can't wait for that.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. He's already agreed to come.
Oh, God
He's already
bless.
agreed to come.
That's awesome.
We're at the point where we're just trying to nail down, what works for him and what works for us. Just trying to match dates on the calendar. I'm really excited about that. I've been smoking GLPs for 20-something years, since I started smoking pipes.
Yeah, it's good.
And Greg is not somebody who does a lot of events. He's never been in the Northeast, let alone New England, let alone New Hampshire. So this is going to be a first whenever this happens, and I'll let you know as soon as we nail down a date when that's going to be. But I'm super excited about that. But, and one of the reasons is there are so few of his pipe tobaccos that I don't think are just awesome.
Yeah.
And, he's been doing this for 20 years, and, I think he's come out with a really, really good
Well, wasn't he on
Virginia
the founding-
Oriental
He was on the
blend.
board for Esoterica for a bit, too, wasn't he?
Yep.
So,
he was on the board.
Wow,
So,
really?
I mean, yeah.
Yep, he was on
Yeah.
the tasting
The dude
board,
knows what he's doing.
bringing those.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Esoterica is the top tobacco that
It's
any
like the Opus X of the
Yeah.
the tobacco world.
super delicious and super hard to get.
Smoking Dunbar earlier today.
Oh, how lucky you were.
All right. That is our show for tonight, people. Thanks for watching. And do make sure you get one of those Antano El Martillos or some of this GLP's Geometrie, or maybe both if you go both ways like myself. We'll see
course
you
you do.
next Monday, 8 o'clock, right here. And that, my friends, is Not Just Blowing Smoke. You've been listening to Not Just Blowing Smoke, the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twins Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and keep in touch with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke. Thanks for listening, everybody, and that is Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Rolling with the top down.